to swallow. And the things I could, I would throw my guitar and my back pick up this like and leave here tomorrow. But then the times upon the Babylon, I got to face the facts, embrace the acts, and got these chains of my sorrow. So I'm on the permanent holiday. I'm going outside to play. I ain't gonna slave away, no. I'm on the corporate Babylon. I'm never gonna be a part in their manipulation game. 10,000 years of captivity, we must eventually open up our eyes and see they're manipulating we with so much uncertainty and so many mysteries. Why are so few questioning the unnatural state of things? It's a nightmare. We're living in a nightmare. Everyone's living so scared. They're virtually unaware of the fear that rules their lives, occupies, consumes their minds. This fear of bankruptcy, financial impotency. It's money, 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 money. It's only digital currency. Oh yeah. It's only monopoly money that keeps us from ever being free. Oh. So it seems we'll be in this prison for life. 'Cause if we keep buying, then they'll keep selling the lie. So we stop surviving.
Thank you all for going on that journey, listening to that song. That is the theme of today's call, and welcome. Thank you for taking the time to be here. My name is Christina Amon, and that song is Permanent Holiday by Mike Love. And I actually feel emotional just listening to it and sharing it with you all, because that is a song that my husband would listen to very often driving to work, and it became an affirmation for him. And I'm just going to read some of the lyrics. Oh Lord, I'm on a permanent holiday. I'm going outside to play. I ain't going to slave away. No, not for corporate Babylon. I'm never going to be a pawn in their manipulation games. And it goes on, and it became like a theme song for our family. And then Mike Love actually has another song about just really freeing ourselves and taking flight and unfurling the wings and really soaring. And so both of those songs became, as my husband was commuting to work on a regular basis. And at one point his work, which was a brick and mortar, was an 80-hour work week. So go ahead, if we have anybody else here who has done a brick and mortar and or an 80-hour work week, just give us a 1 in the comments. Just want to see like who else knows that reality, because it can really feel like a ball and chain. It is so much work. And okay, there's a bunch of people on this list. Yeah, so and where our life got to where he had opened this was it had sprouted from a beautiful vision. We came together, joined in both of our love and also a shared vision of regenerating land that had been damaged and depleted from agricultural practices, and regenerating it to become an oasis of abundance and fertility and gathering spaces and healing opportunities and educational opportunities and cultural perpetuation, all the things. So we set down that path, being in love, planting lots and lots of food, herbal medicine, flowers, orchards, and living very simply close to the earth. In some ways, very much living our dream. However, we started to have children and just kept coming up against the block of not having the investment capital to bring in the infrastructure of an off-grid sanctuary. And also realizing that if the idea is to make this accessible to people and have it be a service to the community, that more resources were needed. We had gotten accustomed to living very humbly and very modestly, but a lot of people weren't necessarily going to come to the land to receive these healing benefits or partake in the abundance if we didn't have certain logistical, access, road, pathways, handrails, power, electricity, on and on. This infrastructure that we've come to be accustomed to in modern times takes money. And that was really the seed for me of pursuing a life of tapping into the wellspring of wealth. And that was the beginning for me. Up until that point, I hadn't caught the vision of money. And actually, in this song, he kind of dismisses money because we've watched in our life and in our society and in our culture so much of the downside of money or the misuse of money, the exploitation or the oppression, the disparity, the control, right? So money is a tool, and it's gotten a really bad rap because of the way that certain forces have wielded it and what it's done to our society. We live on a planet that is generously abundant. There is enough food and enough everything for everybody. And because of the way that resources have been accumulated, and used to control people through fear and through division, we have gotten to a place where people are suffering and there are, unnecessarily overly wealthy people and unnecessarily underly wealthy people. And so a huge part of the work that we do on this path as we tap into that wellspring of wealth is also to close the gap, to disperse that wealth and put it back into regenerative projects that are going to restore the earth to its fertility, to its purity, to its abundance, and do that for humans as well through communities, through economic regeneration of local economies, through exchange, through money being used as a tool to exchange the goods and services that bring life and vitality and health to people, to planet, to water, to educational systems, to cultural exchange. So this was always part of our vision of bringing this to the land. And when we got when it really struck us eventually that we needed money, that's when my husband decided, let's open this brick and mortar and let that be a stream that can feed this beautiful vision that we have. It was a great thought, and ultimately in the long scheme of things, I do believe it's all an interwoven web of the design, that now there is this beautiful flourishing cafe and restaurant and grocery where much of the abundance from the land can go to feed the community. However, in the chapter that we were in at the time, my husband had to devote those 80 hours a week to building that business, and huge loans, huge capital investment. As a family with 2 small children, we were not seeing each other very often. And if you are in family, if you have young children, you know that that can be incredibly taxing on our souls. And the whole reason that we have family. In my opinion, the whole reason of family is to be together and to share and that love that we have for each other. So to go most of the week without that was heartbreaking. So I got to a point where I was really seeking a solution, a financial solution that would bring us that wealth, but also give us our time back, time together as a family, and that it would be time that we had, that we would be able to determine how it was spent. And that was really where that song comes from. My husband just feeling so locked into this business that he was in, and dreaming of the day where he would be free. And so on this platform of what we're going to be talking about here, this solution, this financial solution that came, it enabled me to steadily grow an income stream that gave him the freedom to step back from that brick and mortar. He now works a tiny fraction of what he has in the past, and really only because he still loves what the creation that he and his brother birthed together and shows up to support, but not because we rely on it financially. So the economy that we're talking about here today, this leveraged income platform, has now replaced the income from that brick and mortar and become our primary income stream. And the reason that I'm here today and so passionate about sharing in the way, and what I love to do is break this down for people who are just learning about it, is because I want to see everybody live their permanent holiday life. Somebody mentioned in the comments that I look really warm and they're living in a winter climate. And indeed, I've actually been in the garden all day long with my husband, weeding and turning our beds over to replant a winter crop. Yes, we live in the tropics, so it is warm, and I've been in the sun all day and just got cleaned up for this Zoom. And to me, that is my permanent holiday life. That's my dream life. That's like the ultimate date with my husband, is gardening together and enjoying our animals, enjoying our children, and then, at times recreating, traveling, being with friends and family, and really getting to make that decision for ourselves of how we spend our time, and let the natural rhythms and cycles of our bodies and the need for self-care be at the forefront of how we live out our life. Yep, dream life for sure. And so I show up here on this Zoom, got a little cleaned up for this, because I'm so passionate about letting people know it is possible. It is so possible for you to also live whatever your blueprint is of your dream life, of your permanent holiday. And that is a combination of how you live your life, as with yourself, with your family, just how you're supported, how you're nurtured, how you're held in the infrastructure of your life, your home, your vehicle, kind of just the material plane, and also how you're supposed to show up in your purpose, what you were born to give and contribute to this world, to be really financially supported to show up in that, so that we are not having to make hard decisions, like choosing between being with family or generating wealth, that we're not having to choose between health and self-care or being financially ahead, right? So that we can marry all of that and have it all. I truly believe it is our blueprint to have it all. As long as we're in our heart and we're good people and we're doing good for the world and we're giving back in that overflow. So part of what this is to really deliver that message that it is possible. And if you, like me, never heard that before, or have heard it, on an intellectual level, but don't believe it because of how deeply we've been conditioned to sacrifice, to be a cog in the machine, to settle for less, right? Then we're here to help undo those patterns and really expand. And this is the work of becoming leaders in this world, not leaders of other followers, but leaders of ourselves, and that each one of us becomes a leader, and that together we herald in a better world than we inherited, quite simply. You know, it's just making it better than what we were given so that we can pass forward a better world for our children with more possibility, more longevity, more hope, more joy. So, how does this all work? Drop an 8 in the comments if that's landing for you, if that sounds like something that you're here for to also create. And go ahead and also just add some keywords. What does that world look like to you? And what does that permanent holiday life look like for you personally? What are some of the key elements of that? Since we're here to awaken dreams and be the dreamers, and then also take action towards that. Beautiful. We have some 8s in the house, so we're here for it. And truth, organic, how does it all work, right? So we have the desire to, for some of us it may be a quantum leap from where we are, to really create a life and a pathway that looks very different from where we are. I see here time to just be present, expansive, holistic, sovereign, helping people, freedom to create without concern about finances. Yes. So how do we, if that isn't where we are now, or we want to be more of those things, how do we make that leap? And this is where, for me and for several people on this call, and this is what we're sharing about, this concept of a leveraged income platform. So at the time, I was a stay-at-home mom with 2 small children and a husband who was gone all the time, and we had this land that we had started to develop, and the orchards were being overgrown, the gardens were being overgrown, the house was, it wasn't even a house, it is a greenhouse, that I home birthed both of my babies in a greenhouse, and that was our main home, was, you know, going into disrepair. And I was looking for, how does somebody like me, given all those circumstances, tap into a stream of income that can feed that vision and really take us into that leap. And what came was this leveraged income platform by partnering with a superfoods company and utilizing the network marketing model. Now, I didn't know anything about any of that, but all the signs and all the conversations I had with the friends who were sharing with me about it lit me up inside. I resisted it for a long time. I tried to push it away, but it just kept coming back. And I had to face the fact that the solution I had been asking for was in this business model. So I finally surrendered and took a look at what was being offered. And the way that it works is that we are mentored. We have this beautiful opportunity to receive free mentorship from the lineage of people that we connect with. So you're gonna, you know, if you're a guest on this call or on this replay, you'll connect with whoever's sharing this with you, and they will bring you into a beautiful lineage of leadership of people who have walked the path before and created success and pass on these tips. We do not have to reinvent the wheel. We do not have to go it alone. This is different than the solo entrepreneur journey. We do it as a team. And we follow the model because that's the easiest way, and because it duplicates, meaning the people who come after us can copy what we've done, and that creates that time freedom. We are working smarter, not harder, and we're investing part-time hours to create what can become a residual and passive income stream. This is the whole making money while you sleep concept. This idea of residual income is what can give people the opportunity to focus on raising your family and being very present as a parent, for instance, while still building this income. It can give you the ability to care for elders and loved ones who could use that support. It can give you the ability to have a baby and have true maternity leave, which I think we have several people here who have had that experience or are about to. And that brings me so much joy to know that as a team, we are working and weaving together to create a net where somebody can go off and have a baby and be fully present with their baby, and we're keeping the momentum going together. So this is that idea of residual income. In the linear model, all we know is 6 weeks paid leave to go have a baby. And I actually, half of my family is from Sweden. They receive a combined, I believe it's a year and a half between the mother and the father paid maternity leave. They can maternity, paternity, they can divide it how they want to divide it. Wow, right? So there's a little difference in models. And so because here in the United States, we are offered a meager option if we have a job for maternity leave, in this business model, we get to create our maternity leave on our terms. So I'm just kind of painting a picture of this residual income model, not even necessarily because you haven't heard about it. I hadn't heard about it. I didn't know what it was. But even if you've heard about it, it is so different than what we're taught in school. Even in college, even in university, even in grad school, we are taught such a different linear model of how to participate in the economy that it takes this kind of repetition to let it really sink in and believe in it. Belief is such a huge part of this business model. And so ask yourself, sitting here right now, listening to this call live or this replay, do you believe? Do you believe me? Do you believe that it's possible for yourself to create a life where you could unplug and go travel the world technology free for a year? Like, drop a 1 if you believe that, and drop a 10 if that sounds nuts, right? And, drop whatever number in between of where you're at. But, and for me, it's both, right? It sounds nuts, and I have to believe in it. And the reason I believe in it is because I've seen people, I know people who have done it, because I've seen it and I've heard, and I pay attention to the other people in this business model who have walked the path before me and what they're creating. And not only have they created that kind of freedom, but they've also created this beautiful gift of being fully resourced to be of service to other people. That what they're doing in this life is creating a legacy that pays forward, whether it's to their immediate community, to their family, and beyond, ripple effect. So yeah, so we definitely have the oscillation of like, how much are we in belief of that? So that's a practice to continue to replace the message that we may have grown up with, that it's not possible, to replace it with it's fully possible, and declare I'm doing it. So it begins with that. It begins with just stepping in and saying, this is something that I'm interested in learning more about. And when we partner with the superfoods company, we want to make sure that it's in alignment with our own core values. And for me, after doing my due diligence, I came to realize that this company shared so many of my core values. The purity standards of these products are beyond anything else I've found. They do not tolerate any levels of contaminants, neither heavy metals, pesticides, molds, glyphosate, anything that would compromise our health. Many superfoods companies tolerate a percentage in order to increase profit margin. So Purium has an in-house microbiologist that tests and is committed to discarding batches that may reveal some accidental occurrence of a contaminant. So that's something I could really trust. As somebody who is growing my own food, I was skeptical about whose food am I going to be participating in. And so I can really rest assured Secondarily, the soil that it's grown in is highly regenerated. We're talking almost 100 feet of compressed topsoil that is deeply mineral rich and been farmed with organic and regenerative practices for decades, meaning they're constantly adding back in nutrients. So the products speak for themselves. When you try them, you feel so incredibly alive. And I really think it's the soil quality, which is missing from most food. Most soils are depleted and most food is depleted. In other words, most people are depleted. So that the densely nourishing quality of these superfoods is profound and unique. And the final component is that there's a dehydration method that is so low temperature wind dehydration that the maximum amount of enzymes and nutrients are retained when they go into the compostable packaging, non-GMO compostable packaging that then gets delivered to your door. So when you add your water in, it's virtually a living food again, fully alive, and you feel that too as an experience. So I could get behind all that. I especially trying it, but even before I tried it, just from everything I heard, I was like, this sounds like the real deal. And the owners, they walk their talk. They're incredible philanthropists. They're really earth warriors who are here to bring forth this world that I've talked about and really help humanity rise up and thrive in a incredibly overly toxified world, food system and medical system and agricultural system. So we have profound health solutions, and you can learn way more about all of those details about the products themselves and the miraculous health testimonials that people give on these products. And we have a very powerful financial solution. So when you get enough of a yes to say, okay, I'm ready to walk down this path, the way that it works is you get your own package of superfoods. And there's 3 options that people typically start with. We have our highest value pack, which will include 30-day program of detoxifying and nourishing, plus athletes products and extra juices. That's going to be $17 a day. And all you will add to that is some extra produce and some extra whole foods to nourish on as you experience this ultimate lifestyle transformation journey with the performance elements. So that package is $525. Then we have a middle of the line package, which is that same 30-day program with an immune add-on for $364. And then we have our basic pack, the ultimate lifestyle transformation, 30 days of detox and nourishment, 60 superfood meals, other herbal formulations, and that's $329. So it's going to be $11 a day. You can pick any of those packs and get your business for free. And when you have the business, you have an activated code that you can then share with other people. When you share that code, you're going to be receiving anywhere from 5% to 25% commission, depending on which form that they purchase. And you are also going to be receiving 5% commission on 5 levels deep with other people who come in as partners. So this is where when you start to build an organization, this is where the residual comes in from. So this is a combination of an affiliate program where you're just getting a commission for sharing something that somebody else has created, combined with this team building, leadership development journey that we really get to create together. When you build a team, which many of us become, we're strangers who became good friends who have eventually become chosen family, because this journey is so inclusive and supportive and loving, and we are all experiencing some of the deepest personal development we've ever been on our life. To become these leaders is a journey. So as we grow a team, that's where the residual income comes from, is all these little percentages and these bonuses that come with certain ranks. So we have an incredibly generous compensation plan. There is amazing money to be made in the long run in these higher income brackets and these longer term goals of residual uncapped income. And there's incredible money to be made right up front by getting into momentum right away and following what we call our fast start system. Again, it's part-time hours, but the company has offered double bonuses, $3,500 in bonuses within the first few months by hitting the first few goals within a certain time period. All the mentorship is here for you to dive in and learn how to do this. And essentially what this is what I call the garden of relationships. I love the metaphor of gardening and farming in this industry because we are constantly planting seeds every time we meet people and have conversations. And those conversations are primarily based in deep, engaged listening and asking questions and being of service to help people identify what they might be looking for and then see and get consent to share more information and find out if what they're looking for is a match to what we have. So it's a beautiful even discovery of how to be in right relation with people. I have learned so much about communication and connection and being of support and getting outside myself and being part of something much bigger. So we have a lot of training and support in how to nurture these relationships so that they lead to solutions being found by people who are seeking them. And we're just here to be the ones shining a light on those solutions so they can be found by the ones seeking. And then we support people along their journey, whether it's the health journey or the wealth journey or both, to rise up and meet their goals. So that's a little bit of an overview of how the leveraged income model works, how this beautiful industry of network marketing works, how you can find a home within Purium. We are so happy that you're here checking it out. And if you are feeling a call to learn more or ask questions, please connect with a person who shared this with you to get those questions answered, get your concerns answered. Be a skeptic, flip over every rock, get satisfied, and then come join us. And we're going to have a lot of fun together building your permanent vacation, your permanent holiday life, our beautiful world that we want to pass on to the next generations, and so much more hope and possibility for the planet. I'm going to stop the recording and say thank you to everybody, but please stay on if you want to ask any questions while we're here. Thanks, everybody.